There we go. Okay, a very good morning from India. I am Dr. Siddheshwar Chopra and I am going to take you to the journey of Spooky2 Scalar. We'll be learning the basic concepts and we'll be diving into what scalar is, what are the modes of scalar and things like that, demonstration videos. I'll try to keep it as simple as possible for you all. And my good wishes. Okay, so a bit about myself. For the new people who have joined today, I really welcome you all from the bottom of my heart. Academic credentials, I am a PhD in experimental physics from one of the premier institutes in India, BITS Pilani. Prior to that, I have done post-graduation and undergraduation from Sri Sathya Sai Institute of Higher Learning, Andhra Pradesh and Bangalore campuses. Many of you must be knowing about Sri Sathya Sai Baba. So I have very close association with Swami and lots of blessings from him always. And after my PhD, I have done around 10 years of teaching at university level. So I have been physics professor. I have taught till PhD. I have taught many students. And during my PhD and after PhD, I have published nearly 25 research papers in computational nanoscience, mostly in computational nanoscience, in reputed international journals. You can check my profile on Google Scholar also. After my PhD, during my teaching career, I have also started learning energy healing. And during that time, I started working with Spooky2. I came across Spooky2 and it was my privilege to have known such a wonderful modality. Spooky2 is a modality indeed because it offers you several types of therapies, not just one. That is the beauty of Spooky2 group. They are continuously evolving their technologies. They are bringing in new devices, new technologies, helpful for all. And I'm India's first Spooky2 verified Rife trainer. I'm proud of that. I have also been a theta healing practitioner. I have many successful cases, national and abroad. I am a Reiki Grandmaster, Access Consciousness Facilitator, Now Healing Facilitator, Vastu Consultant. I also have Master Diploma in Alternative Medicine, and I have many other modalities or many other passions like Keshe technology, bubble tech, pyramids, magnets, orgonites. So I keep I keep learning these technologies. These are wonderful technologies to know and practice. So this was a little introduction about myself. And now let us see what we'll be learning today with you all. So I'll be introducing you all to the scalar field technology. How was it discovered? What is the philosophy of understanding diseases, properties of scalar field, health benefits, followed by technical details of Spooky2 Scalar, primarily the hardware specifications, and discussing about different modes of Spooky2 Scalar. And then we will learn one by one what are these modes, and finally operational details of the scalar technology, hardware connections of all modes, the scalar biofeedback scan, which is a bit tricky, but it is worth your time, worth your patience. Then followed by scalar based imprinting and Scalar Harmony, the latest modality Spooky2 Scalar has to offer. Okay. Then we will end up with Q&As. Okay. So let me start with the introduction. Yeah. So the scalar energy was discovered by James Clerk Maxwell, a Scottish scientist born in 1831. The first mention of the scalar energy from his point, and he has done a lot of work in electromagnetic theory, and followed by Nikola Tesla, a Serbian American inventor and engineer born in 1856, advanced Maxwell's findings and invented machines that proved the existence of scalar energy. Now, Tesla's work is uh, commendable, and because of him, now we are so aware of scalar energy, and we even have devices in the market, and popular devices are the ones from Spooky2, the ones from the Professor Konstantin Mail. These are really wonderful devices, wonderful technologies. So Albert Einstein in 1878 also wrote papers on scalar waves applied to the gravitational field, right? But recently, Professor Konstantin Mail has done extensive work, extensive theoretical and practical work on the scalar waves extensively in vertex theory. Okay, so you will find his, there are free materials from his work on internet. So I have read most of his research work, and he has done a very good research work with scalar, and he also uh, develops these devices. Okay, so really grateful to all these wonderful people, wonderful scientists who have given a solid background to the scalar technology. But talking about scalar, what are basically scalar waves? So how do we understand scalar waves? So back in 1900s, Nikola Tesla discovered an electromagnetic longitudinal wave which can carry out lossless transformation of energy over vast distances, and which can also pass through solid metal objects with literally no loss of power, and it can transport energy without the need of wires. So in the 21st century, it has now been called as scalar waves. So can you all connect to the statements that it can pass through metal objects with no loss of power, and it can transmit energy without the need of wires? So that was the point, which was a difficult one to be accepted by some electrical companies and big people. You get my point? So that is why, there was a difficulty in absorbing the concept of scalar at that time, because it could have shut down many things. Okay, so coming back to the scalar, see, the general setup of scalar is, I'm showing you this diagram because we'll be seeing the scalar unit, Spooky2 scalar unit, so that you can correlate easily, right? So in general, the Spooky2 unit has, or the scalar unit has, a transmitter box, right? It's a transmitter circuit wherein the huge base, you see the base of the transmitter in Spooky2 scalar, it contains of the secondary primary coil. You see here, the first transmitter has two coils. Okay, one is the primary and other is the secondary. So you see, one box contains the high frequency generator plus the coil, and then the vertical panel, the one which you open, the lid, the lid contains the ball electrodes. Okay, this is the one throwing out the scalar signal. In general, this is what your transmitter contains. Then there is second unit, which is called the receiver, wherein again you have primary and secondary coils with LED. Please pay attention that on the left hand side, you do not have any power source, unlike the right hand side, which is the transmitter box. Okay. On the transmitter box, you do see a power supply next to the high frequency generator. Fine. On the left hand side, which is the receiver box, you do not see any power supply. This is what I'm trying to bring your attention to. You only have primary, secondary coil, LED, and ball electrodes. Then the receiver and transmitter are only connected by something called the earth connection, or in terms of Spooky2 Scalar, you can call it a link cable. Okay. So whenever the high frequency generator starts generating some frequencies, or I should say, we are manually changing the frequency, and there comes a point which we call as scalar tuning point, that suddenly you see the same wave appears out of nowhere at the receiver. Okay. The moment this happens, there is a resonance between the receiver and transmitter, and then we say the scalar field has formed. At that point, exactly the waves coming from the transmitter and coming from the receiver, they interfere destructively. Okay. So like one has crest, one has trough. So they cancel out each other. This is the general setup of scalar field as provided by Professor Konstantin Mail in his scalar experiment. So this is a quick preview of what scalar waves are. In general, scalar waves are instantaneous longitudinal waves that encompass everything. Okay. They do not propagate along an axis or have a direction, unlike electromagnetic waves, which are transverse in nature. These are also called as non-Hertzian wave, right? So transverse wave is when the movement of the particle is perpendicular to the propagation of the wave. So that is what is called as transverse wave. But scalar waves are longitudinal in nature, right? So it's like the sound from the speakers. So these are the sound waves which need air to travel. So these are longitudinal in nature, the scalar waves. What are the properties of scalar field? See, most important property of the scalar field is the scalar energy or the scalar field expands outward in a circular fashion, or I should say it should be spherical fashion. It is a 3D field. Okay, so it is a 3D field. Just imagine in your hand right now. That is what we do in healing also. We imagine the ball of light in our hand, right? So just in this case, in terms of scalar field, just imagine that you are holding a balloon. So you are holding a balloon, it's a elliptical, it's a spherical sort of field. So in general, it is an elliptical field. So balloon is here, So one is the transmitter, one is this receiver. So these two, in between you have an elliptical field. I'll be showing you a photo very soon. Unlike the electromagnetic waves, scalar waves do not decay over time or distance from the source. This is most important point we have to understand. These waves do not decay over time or distance from the source. These cannot be measured with any modern equipments, right? The reason is there is no electrons involved here in this case. Because of that, instruments are not able to measure it, right? These waves easily pass through metals, and these carry capability to carry information. These have the capability to carry information. This is the most important point you have to understand. Whenever we are talking about scalar field can instantly transmit information to the other end. Please remember that. Okay, this is something very important. And lastly, these are highly coherent in nature. These waves are highly coherent in nature, which bring harmony. If I have to, take a webinar on coherence itself, because I am a physicist, coherence itself is a big topic. It is not that easy for everyone to digest. I should just quickly give you a preview of what I'm trying to say here. We live in chaotic fields, right? Whether it is at emotional level, whether it is at electromagnetic level, however you want to understand, physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, all these levels. Currently, we are in some sort of chaos. We are living in chaotic field. Okay. So if you have to understand chaos, look for waves, or imagine it as waves which are discontinuous in nature. A wave is a smooth one, but if you have incoherent wave, chaotic wave, then there are breaks in between the continuity of the wave, right? When that happens, it is going to create issues for us, health concerns for us in every fashion possible. We will understand in later slides now. So scalar field converts these chaotic waves to coherent waves. Okay. So this is a very, very, very important point. It brings harmony. Now, what is the philosophy of understanding dis-eases? So many of us already are aware of this point, but I love to stress this because in life, usually we ignore or forget the simplest of the things which we should understand, right? Our bodies consist of network of energy channels right from top to bottom. Okay. Our heart is the pumping source, right? It is the one which is giving life. It is continuously throwing energy to all the organs. If we are at the center of the heart, you can see that it is communicating with everything so well. The brain is communicating so well. Okay. So this energy, or the chi or the prana, is responsible for making us feeling healthy and energized, not just on physical level, but also on emotional, mental, and spiritual levels. The root cause of diseases is some sort of blockage in our energetic pathways or chakras. Okay. So what are chakras? Basically, chakras are, this concept has evolved from the Indian system, and chakras are basically the vortexes of energy, the energy vortices in our body, said to be 7 and more than 7, even in some places I've read. People say nearly 11 chakras are there. Okay. So these are nothing but the energy vortices, and you have magnetic fields revolving in the body at specific centers, which are again connected to the different meridians in the body. And these chakras hold big secrets for us. Okay, these hold the chi. These help in the chi flow. So whenever the energetic pathways get blocked, disease appears. And once the local energy levels falls below a critical threshold, the onset of a chronic disease is nearby. If the situation is not corrected, the condition worsens over time. Okay, so first thing is what we have learned, and what I teach in healing is we have to acknowledge the issue in our body, issue in our mind first. That is most important. After that, many of the problems get resolved, right? So now our body and scalar energy, despite interruption by blockages, right? People have diseases since a long time. You call it acute diseases, chronic diseases, always remember, consciously we may forget what is the healthy chi communication. How does chi flow in our body? Because a person with terrible disease since long time, they are in pain, they are in mental agony. Okay, so it is difficult for us to consciously remember our strength, right? In our loved ones, we tell them, this is your strength, come on, you can do better. That is what family does. We help out each other. So please remember, the cells always store the healthy chi communication. They have the memory of the healthy chi communication. So whenever they get any external energy in the form of our thoughts, or coming back to the scalar, our body cells communicate using scalar fields. When this communication is blocked, our health suffers. Okay, so mitochondria are the power stations of cells, and scalar fields charge this mitochondria. So once the mitochondria is charged, your body has energy to take care of its own, So body starts inner healing. So when inner healing starts, the chi communication gets restored. Okay. So Spooky2 Scalar transmitter not only transmits energy, but also takes energy from the ether. And that is what makes Spooky2 Scalar such a powerful modality. It pulls the healing energy from the ether. And what is ether? It is the empty space around the nucleus, okay, where electrons are rotating. Some people think of ether as air, but air itself is composed of molecules. So the emptiness is what is ether, and you have in many modalities it is called as wholeness, the field, the morphic field. These are the fields we are talking about when I say this scalar field, etheric field. Okay, so this is where the information is stored, the healing is stored. Now, what are the health benefits of scalar field? So scalar field provides energy to the cells. As I mentioned just now, it provides energy to the cells. It stimulates cellular growth in human immune system. It improves cellular wall permeability. It supports communication between cells. It restores healthy state of the body. It improves memory. It reduces the harmful effect of EMF from cell phones. So this is a very important point, because when I mentioned about chaotic energy being converted to the coherent energy by the scalar field, this is what I meant. Okay, it improves sleep. Hence, it is effective in depression, insomnia, and stuff like that. It repairs DNA. It enhances plant health and growth. Now, the key to healing is information, and we are talking about scalar information here. Okay. Spooky2 Scalar can restore our body's natural healing mechanism by charging the body and offering it the much needed energy to open and remove the blockages. So this is what Scalar does. It provides an external stimuli, and it pushes your body from within to start healing itself. That is what it does. So that is why I should call, you can ask me, Dr. Chopra, what do you say about the scalar technology in general? Is it the general Rife killing type modality, or it is a healing modality? What is it? So I would say it is in general a healing modality, because the main function of this modality is to activate your inner healing. That is one thing. But second and most important point is it carries information. So now information can be information of pathogen, information of a disease. So by information, I mean, in our terms here in this technology, we mean frequency. So it carries frequency of a specific issue, and it can transmit to the body, transmit to the recipient immediately. Okay. So a Spooky2 Scalar is the first scalar energy device to provide 3 modes of transmission. As we go along, we will learn. There is a popular saying in traditional Chinese medicine, where there is free flow, there is no pain or disease. I truly believe that. I truly believe that. Okay. So free flow is what we are talking about as coherence. If coherence of energy flow is there in your body, everything is fine. So now, getting on to the technical details of Spooky2 Scalar, we will be starting with how does Spooky2 Scalar work. So basically, as I explained with the general diagram of a scalar unit, the first unit, which is the transmitter, you can see here in the diagram on the bottom right that you have L shape, right? L shape facing each other. And then what transmitter does is it generates a sine signal, sine wave, pure wave, and sends it to the receiver through one wire, which is the link cable or the earth connection I mentioned in the earlier slides. So the receiver is face to face with the transmitter, such that the moment receiver receives a signal from transmitter, it inverts the signal. When it inverts the signal, now the crest and trough of transmitter and receiver signals match each other and they cancel out. Okay. But please remember always the law in physics, it says conservation of energy. So energy is always conserved. So if it cancelled out, where did the energy vanish? So now energy got converted to something called scalar field, and which is available between the area of transmitter and receiver. The empty area between the transmitter and receiver has scalar field. So just quickly have a look at this video, which is my favorite, which shows how the scalar field gets formed. So just imagine the blue color right hand side nozzle as the transmitter and left hand side nozzle as the receiver. So that is how a scalar field is formed. You see, one wave is coming from right to left and one is coming from left to right, but opposite in nature. Okay, so the moment this happens, scalar field forms. That should be fine. So I'll just go to the next slide. So these are the technical specifications of the device. I would like to just mention here. You get two boxes and the frequency range of the scalar unit is from 1 megahertz to 8 megahertz. Okay, this is very important. And the frequency is tuned in terms of a step size of 50 kilohertz. So the frequency gets increased in 50 kilohertz increments. Remember that. And the scalar flow, which is the current flowing in the link cable, is very tiny. It's just 30 milliamps. Now, it's a very simple unit. You get transmitter box, receiver box, you get a power adapter, you get a link cable, and you get a BNC cable. Now, BNC cable is needed only for the Rife scalar mode, not for general usage for pure or molecular scalar mode maybe. BNC cable is required for the third mode. There are three modes as I mentioned just now. Pure scalar mode is the easiest mode to apply scalar energy. You have to just tune the field and sleep in that field, right? Molecular scalar mode is enhancing the scalar signal by adding any molecule to the scalar unit. We'll learn how to do that shortly. Rife scalar mode is the one in which you can use your frequency generator, which is XM, not XM generator, only generator X. So you can use generator X to supply any program frequency, any frequency to the scalar unit to get the benefits of that frequency in your body. Okay. And then you can also do scalar biofeedback scan in the Rife scalar mode. That makes it unique. Rife scalar mode is really unique in Spooky2 scalar unit. Now, pure scalar mode, as I mentioned, okay, this one is not required because I've already mentioned to you. Now we will go back to, we'll go to the operational details of Spooky2 scalar. So what does the Spooky2 scalar unit look like? Okay, so what do you find on the transmitter and receiver? So the transmitter panel looks something like this, wherein you have the frequency display, which is the yellow color rectangular chip here. So this is the frequency display wherein you will be seeing the frequency value. Then you have a link cable connector. So this is the most important connector, and this is perhaps the only connector you need to know. Link cable connector. Okay. Then followed by that, you have a power port wherein you will be connecting your power adapter, the 12-volt DC adapter. We always recommend using only the one supplied with the unit. Then you have a BNC port, which is meant for the molecular scalar or the Rife scalar work. You will be connecting a BNC cable, right? In fact, you use it only for the Rife scalar. And then you have the adjustment knob. This is the knob you will be using to set up the scalar field. Remember, you have to set up the scalar field always. Okay. And you have a tuning light here, which changes the intensity. It is quite sensitive. So as you change the frequency, the brightness of the light changes. And then you have the output coil for any placement of water, any photographs or whatever. So you have the coils in both the transmitter and receiver boxes. Then you have off and on switch here. Down you see the large knob. Now receiver panel is pretty simple. It contains only link cable connector. Here you got to connect the transmitter and receiver through the link cable. And then you have a tuning light. In fact, the right word should be the confirmation light. Okay. So once the scalar field has been set up, remember there is no electronic circuit as such in receiver panel, as I mentioned earlier. So this is just for the confirmation's sake that scalar field is indeed set up right now. So the brighter the light is, the scalar field is available to you, right? In fact, the brightness is not directly proportional to the field. I should mention here. Once the light is turned on, scalar field has been set up, okay? And then you have input coil on the receiver. So now you can ask me that, Dr. Chopra, receiver coil you are saying as input coil and transmitter coil you are saying as a output coil. Why is it so? Transmitter, by the very name itself, you should say that transmitter is the input coil, but it is not. Because the moment the waves coming from the transmitter hit the receiver, receiver is the point from where scalar waves actually start. The scalar field actually gets set up when the waves hit the receiver. So that is why we call receiver as input coil. Okay. Now, for the pure scalar mode, let us dive into the hardware operation now. For the pure scalar mode, what you need to do is set up the transmitter and receiver in the fashion as shown in the image. Okay. So try to maintain the same height of the transmitter and receiver, but this is not an obligation. Okay. This is not an obligation. Just if possible, try to maintain the same distance, same height, otherwise no problems. Okay. It still works. There is no problem. And now connect your power adapter to the power port of the scalar unit, the transmitter unit, and then connect link cable to the link port on transmitter and receiver. Okay. So you see the connections are minimal here. Now you can turn on the device and tune the scalar field. We will get into the tuning shortly. So once you use the tuning knob, the turning knob on the transmitter just below the display panel, you have to turn it anti-clockwise always. Anti-clockwise always. Okay. And you start turning it anti-clockwise, you will find that the tuning light on the transmitter just above the output coil, this becomes brighter and brighter. So the first bright point you find while turning anti-clockwise, that is the one which is called as scalar tuning point. And usually this point is around 5 to 7 megahertz. Now you have to understand one thing. You might ask Dr. Chopra why the frequency changes. The frequency changes due to many factors. Okay. It changes due to humidity. It changes due to the distance between the transmitter and receiver. So there is, assuming you are maintaining the same distance and humidity is same, so you can approximate that, okay, the tuning point should be same. But usually it is always a good practice to do this every time and do not try to remember the value. That is what my suggestion would be, okay? So what is the tuning? Understanding the tuning. As I said, you are turning the knob anti-clockwise as visible in the diagram. The moment you turn on the device, you will see the frequency 8 megahertz visible to you. Okay, so you have to take the knob, turn it anti-clockwise, and the first brightest point would be scalar tuning point. There is a caution here. If you turn it twice, I mean you get two bright points, the next bright point next to the scalar point would be EMF tuning point. That is definitely not the field you should be sitting into. Okay, so just make sure that you are tuning scalar carefully. This is the only thing you have to understand here, which is critical. Okay, so you have to tune from the 8 megahertz. The first brightest point would be scalar tuning point, right? Now talking about the distances between the lid and the human body. So as you see here, we have a Spooky2 member with us. In the image, you can see the distance to be maintained from both the lids should be approximately 1.5 to 2 feet from both the lids. Okay. And in general, the distance between the transmitter and receiver lids should be 6 feet at least. The distance between the transmitter and receiver lid, I'm explaining again, should be at least 6 feet. Okay. And then most importantly, the link cable should not be entangled, because if the coil is entangled, it might eat up the scalar energy and you might not be able to set up the scalar field itself. Okay, it could be a very weak field or undetected field. So just make sure that at least you have 6 feet distance between these two lids. Now, as I mentioned earlier, the scalar field forms in an elliptical fashion, imagining a balloon between your palms, okay, right and left. It's like a balloon, and that is how the scalar field is formed. So usually, if possible, your head and feet can be pointing in the direction of the scalar units, okay, like this. Ideally, if you do this, this is very good. Otherwise, if you make it perpendicular also, it will still work. So don't worry, okay? But my priority is sleeping in this fashion with head and feet facing both the lids. Now, this is a quick video to show how to tune the Spooky2 scalar. So I'm just speeding up.
Hello everyone. In this video, we will show you how to set up and tune Spooky2 Scalar. First of all, place the transmitter and receiver either side of a chair or bed. Secondly, you need to connect the 12-volt power adapter to the transmitter power port. Third, plug the link cable into the transmitter and receiver link connectors. And then you can turn on and tune the transmitter. Just like a radio, Spooky2 Scalar requires tuning. It is very simple to do. Turn the tuning adjustment knob anti-clockwise until the tuning light beside the transmitter coil is at its first maximum brightness. There are two peaks during tuning. The first peak in the indication light indicates that the ideal scalar frequency has been found. The frequency range when the light illuminates is quite broad. If you continue to turn the tuning knob anti-clockwise, the indication light will extinguish and then will come back on. This second, lower frequency is the EMF operating frequency. It is the confirmation that the scalar frequency was found in the previous step. Thanks for watching this video.
So there you see, this is how you tune the pure scalar field. Okay, so this is quite simple. Now we get on to the second most important mode, which is called the molecular scalar mode. Now please understand, whatever you do with the scalar unit, whichever program you want to run, whatever is your goal, always remember to tune the scalar field. So whenever I am talking about anything advanced in scalar unit, make sure that pure scalar field is always set up. That is the preliminary thing, that is the eligibility criteria to start working with scalar, Spooky2 Scalar. Okay, so in the next mode, molecular scalar, we again tune the field, right? I'm just giving you a practice here. You again tune the field, but now the difference is that on the receiver side, which is the input coil, I'm reiterating here, on the input coil, which is the receiver coil, you see a gray circle. Okay, there is a small gray circle on the coil. On the image you can see here, it is off the center. It is off the center of the input coil. So that is the place where you should be keeping any molecule, any medicine, anything you want to keep, essential oil or any other stuff, okay, any nutrients, supplements. So you can keep that on this coil. You can ask me what is the quantity you should be placing. So there is no limit to the quantity, but I usually put a drop or two. It is more than enough, okay, because you are transmitting the information from the supplement, right? So whenever information is getting transmitted, so very tiny amount of the molecule is sufficient. You don't need to put a huge bottle, okay? So it is a good suggestion that you can make your own molecule, you can make your own sample in a glass bottle, right? Always try to use lead-free glass. Okay, always try to use lead-free glass. Now, you need not put the cap on the glass bottle, or even if you put the cap, nothing happens. Still, you get the benefit. So many people have confusion whether to put a cap or not. Okay, but so even if you put the cap, so that the sample does not evaporate, that is what I do. So even if you put the cap, it still works. So this is how I've shown in the diagram. You can place the sample or the substance on the receiver coil as in this fashion and retune the scalar field. You tune the scalar field. So if a person is sitting in the scalar field and this tuning is done by second person, someone from your family or anybody else, so the better idea would be to do it in this fashion when someone else is tuning for you, because now the scalar field is custom made for your body, because you have been a part of the scalar field while the tuning was going on. Okay, so this is more powerful. Now this is just quick video to show the molecular mode. I'm just speeding up the extra portions. These are the connection parts. This you are already aware of this. Okay.
Secondly, we need to place the essential oil on the receiver plate. Open the essential oil bottle. Glass container is recommended for the substances. The small gray circle on the coil is the best place for the substances. So we put essential oil on the small gray circle. We recommend putting the drops you desire in a topless vial or vial with glass lid or paper lid, but do not waste your expensive bottle of essential oil by leaving the lid on. If you want to send the effects of essential oil, supplement, or drugs, etc., in your body or into something else, place the substance on the receiver coil. We can turn on Spooky2 Scalar now. Turn the tuning adjustment knob anti-clockwise.
Oh, it got.
Of essential oil. Spooky2 Scalar now. Turn the tuning adjustment knob anti-clockwise until the tuning light beside the output coil is at maximum brightness. Okay, we can see between the transmitter and the receiver now.
You see? So nothing has changed. Only thing now you're doing in molecular scalar mode is you are placing the sample on the receiver coil and then retuning the field. Okay. So now the field contains the information of the sample you have placed, right? You don't have to decode what is the frequency here. It is the easiest of the modes. Now, going to the Rife scalar mode, this is where more of experimental type works can be done, wherein you can get the benefit, therapeutic benefit of any of the frequencies from the Spooky2 database. So what you can do is, assuming you have saved any program on the generator X memory, you can see the video in the next slide. So you are saving any program with Spooky2 Scalar preset. You are saving the program onto the generator X memory, and now you just make the connection of the power connection of the generator X. The BNC connector now should be connected between generator X and the scalar unit. So you see a BNC port on the transmitter unit. You have to connect the BNC cable between generator X port 1 of G1 to the BNC cable port of the transmitter, and then you have to connect the link cable between the transmitter and the receiver units. And of course, you have to connect the power connection for the transmitter unit. So this is the connection part of Rife scalar mode. So I'm just showing you here the demonstration video of the Rife scalar. I'll be, yeah, just one, yeah.
Adapter to generator, and the other end goes into the power source. Then connect USB cable to GX and the computer. Insert the square end into the side of generator X and the USB end into the computer. And the computer of generator X and the USB end into the computer. Turn on the generator X. Okay, now you can open the Spooky2 software. Go to Presets tab. Choose Shell Presets, Scalar, Spooky2 Scalar General JW Flex. Go to Programs tab. Search Here stimulate program and double-click to use it. Then, go to the control tick Override Generator and open a generator. Click the Load button. Double-click to select a memory location to save the preset, and click Save.
So she has saved the program into generator X memory.
Set up Spooky2 Scalar devices. Connect the 12-volt power adapter to the transmitter power port. Then plug the link cable into the transmitter and receiver link connector. Thirdly, we need to connect generator X to Spooky2 Scalar and tune Spooky2 Scalar. We need to ensure that generator X stays away from scalar field and 1 meter away from Spooky2 transmitter and link cable. Connect G1 out 1 or G2 out 1 to the BNC port of the Spooky2 Scalar transmitter. Here we connect G1 out 1 to this port using a BNC cable. Okay, we can turn on Spooky2 Scalar now. Then turn the tuning adjustment knob anti-clockwise until the tuning light beside the output coil is at maximum brightness. Fourthly, we need to start DNA integrity stimulate program with generator X. We connect G1 out 1 to the Spooky2 Scalar transmitter, so we press G1 here. You can see all your loaded presets in GX. Select DNA integrity stimulate. Press the Start button. One cycle of the program is 3 minutes. Press the Loop button to loop the program if you need more treatment time. Okay, we can sit between the transmitter and
so most importantly, the generator X should be approximately 1 meter or as far as possible away from the scalar units. Okay, this is very important consideration. And you have to load any program of your choice into the generator X memory using Spooky2 Scalar preset only. Do not use remote preset, contact preset. No. Okay, this is very important. So let me go to the scalar biofeedback scan. This is where this is a potent biofeedback scan, because I always tell my clients, I do offer one-on-one training. So I always tell my clients, it scans your aura. Okay, this is a very powerful scan, let me tell you. And so let us learn how to do this. So scalar biofeedback scan basically needs to use both the ports. Okay, both the ports of the generator. Generator X I'm talking about. Your XM generator will not work here. So you need to have generator X, right? So generator X, you have to, first thing is you have to note down the port numbers of G1 and G2. Say G1 is port 2 and G2 is port 3 in this example. So once you note down these, now we are talking about only the software part in the beginning. So you have to go back, you have to go to the scalar digitizer slave GX preset. We'll be seeing a video also, so nothing to worry about. So please understand, now you're talking about master and slave. So assuming here G1 is the one which has your scalar digitizer connected. We'll see the connection shortly, so stay with me. So you are going to connect the scalar digitizer, which is a small unit you have to buy from Spooky2 Scalar. It's a small unit. Okay, it has one link cable, what do you call it? It's a 3.5 mm jack. Okay, that goes into the link cable port, and then you have a BNC connector to that. right? So that is a small device called scalar digitizer. Do not confuse it with sample digitizer. They all look in black in color, right? So you have to connect the scalar digitizer to the G1 out 1, that is port number 2, and that is called as master because it is the one which is going to perform scalar scan for you, the biofeedback scan. And then you have uh, the BNC port on the transmitter, which will be connected to your G2 out 1, which is port 3, which will be taken as slave. So slave is the one which is assisting the master to perform the biofeedback scan. Okay. So now, understanding this software part, we go to the scalar digitizer slave preset, and then we go to the settings tab, and here in the output shadowing frame, you have to set output equal to X, and that X is the port number of master, which is 2 in this example. So slave is going to shadow master in this case because slave has to provide assistance to the master. It is shadowing the master. That is what is the most important step, perhaps the only step you need to understand in setting up the scalar biofeedback scan. So you go to the scalar slave preset, and then you select output frame, output shadowing frame. In the settings tab, you set up output equal to the port number of the G1. That is what you have to understand. Now, once you are done with this, you go to the control tab, tick override generator, choose port number 3, which is G2, which is slave, and then you load the settings. That is what is most important. Now, once you are done, you go back to presets tab and select the master preset, which is for the scalar scan, scalar biofeedback scan, and then you are good to go. You go back to the control tab, and then you press the scan button and the scanning starts. Okay, just 1 minute. Okay, so here is the quick preview of the video for scalar biofeedback scan. So please pay attention to this video. This will tell you everything you need to know about the scalar biofeedback.
Spooky2 Scalar with Scalar Harmony. Firstly, we plug the scalar digitizer to the hidden table port on the scalar transmitter. Then connect the hidden table to the scalar digitizer and the other end to the scalar receiver. Connect the 12-volt power adapter to the transmitter power port. Connect G1 of 1 to the DLT port of scalar digitizer. And G2 of 1 to the DLT port of Spooky2 Scalar transmitter.
So all the connections go to the transmitter port.
1 meter away from Spooky2 Scalar transmitter and scalar field. Plug the power adapter into power source. The other end goes into the generator X. Connect USB cable to GX at the computer. Insert the USB end into the computer and the square end into the side of generator X. Turn on the generator X. Fourthly, turn on Spooky2 Scalar and tune Spooky2 Scalar.
You have to tune the scalar field.
Anti-clockwise until the tuning light beside the output coil is at maximum resistance. Open and G2 before running down the step. You can see here, G1 is port 17, G2 is 18. Go to Process tab, click biofeedback, Scalar Divider. Select Spooky2 Scalar Divider slave, JW. Go to Settings tab, look at the output shadowing. Set output equal X, where X means port number of G1. Since G1 is port 17, we set 17 here. Go to Control tab, click Override Generator and choose G2. Then go to Process tab, select Spooky2 Scalar Divider Master JW. Go to Control tab, click Override Generator and choose G1. Lie between the two scalar units, and after this page, click the Scan button to start the biofeedback again. If you do not have anyone to help, set the start delay to 2000. This will give you time to start the biofeedback again and position yourself correctly between the units. Spooky2 Scalar Divider Master process performs biofeedback, and the slave process modulates Spooky2 Scalar. G1 will start the biofeedback, but no frequencies will be produced. Instead, the amount of scalar energy being absorbed for each frequency that the body will be. G2 automatically starts causing Spooky2 Scalar to transmit the generator frequency. Here are some notes. First, it is better to lie perfectly still and only have one person in the scalar field. Second, this field extends outward, so ensure no living organism nearby. Third, you can do short scans once a day and longer scans once a week. Thanks for watching.
Okay, so you saw how to perform the scalar biofeedback scan. See, the most important point is, just 1 minute. Yeah. So the most important point is, if there is someone else assisting you, so that would be a great help, so that he can, press the scan button. Okay. So it would be easier for you to manage the scan like that. Right. Now, the thing is, usually we don't recommend using while running the scalar biofeedback scan that anybody else is there in the field. Okay, please remember, because you want the scan for yourself. You should be the only person in the scan, right? So treatment wise, it's okay, anybody else can share the field, because if frequencies are not needed in their body, it will not be affecting them anyways. It will just pass the body. Okay, so but during the scan, definitely make sure only you are there between the transmitter and receiver panels, right? And again, generator X should be placed away from the scalar units as much as possible. You can ask questions in the Q&A section. I will answer. Now, talking about the scalar imprinting, this is something I've been, mentioning since few years, that scalar imprinting is really powerful and it is quite fast. So what you are going to do is, when you want to imprint anything, we say you can imprint on a hologram, you can imprint on photographs, okay, Polaroid photographs. By imprinting, we mean sending the signal to the recipient. Okay, so in this case, now the substance on which, or the sample on which you are going to imprint, it could be water, right? It could be anything you want to imprint the frequencies into. So you should place that on the transmitter coil, which is the output coil, and the substance to be imprinted, the one you are going to send to the object, that should be placed on the receiver coil. So of course, I'm assuming that you have set up scalar field, but now you have to retune the scalar field because you have added two materials, two samples on the scalar unit. One is the water, where you will be sending the imprinting frequencies, and one is the uh, sample or substance which you will be imprinting into the water. Okay, so there are two things now. So you have to retune the scalar field, and I think 3 to 4 minutes, 3 to 10 minutes should be more than enough to imprint scalar water. Okay, so now your water contains the frequencies of the molecule of the recipe you have, say essential oil or whatever. So another thing is, it's a good idea if, say, I want to consume this imprinted water. So if I sit in the scalar field with the same setup, and now the tuning is done by a second person, so now the therapy, the imprinted water is customized for my body. Okay, so that would make it more powerful. Now, general points to consider when you're using scalar unit is, every time you use the scalar unit, it does not retain its tuning point. Please remember this, write it down. It does not retain any tuning point. You do have to tune it before every session, because tuning point changes with environmental conditions as per the distance between the lids, whatever. Also, once you are done with this tuning scalar field, turn off the receiver tuning light. Some people turn it on and leave it on. Please remember, it is going to weaken your scalar field. We don't want that. We want strong field. We don't want the light to be eating up the scalar energy. So you have to turn it off. Okay. Next is, transmitter and receiver should have lids facing each other. Okay. You can experiment with the point number 3 as such, because it's not that you need them to be perfectly parallel to each other or something like that. It does work. Scalar field does work still. Okay. And try to keep link cable away from the metal. This is important, because if scalar field scalar field could be weak in nature if the link cable is on metal. Okay, because setting up the scalar field is done by a link cable, right? You need link cable to be sending strong signal. Okay. Now, okay, during pregnancy or people with pacemaker, we do not recommend using Spooky2 Scalar. Overnight treatments are perfectly safe, 24/7, perfectly safe. No issues with scalar, because it is completely healing energy. Okay. You do not get frequency fatigue from overexposure, because body leaves what is not needed. Simple as that. So you don't have to worry that with scalar. Definitely no problem. It's best not to share scalar field with anyone who has serious illness. Right? This is a very tricky point. Although I don't believe this 100%, but yes, precaution should be taken not to share the scalar field with someone with serious illness. Because if you have any emotions resonating with such a person, similar emotions which can attract similar disease, so that could be little difficult situation to handle. So we would avoid such situations. BNC cable, yeah, BNC cable is provided free with the Spooky2 Scalar, so you can use that. Now, Scalar Harmony is a new device, a new accessory with Scalar unit. I always recommend my people to buy Scalar Harmony unit, because this is the one which is so easy to use, and it is a modulation device which can transmit music into the scalar field. How cool is that? You know, so many of us are into meditations, we do healing sessions. So we always prefer some sort of music being played in the environment, right? So here is a beautiful example that you connect your mobile phone to the scalar harmony, and scalar harmony is being placed on the input coil, which is the receiver. And there you go, you can place any molecule also on the scalar harmony, and there you combine music plus any medicine or supplement into the scalar field, right? So you send those frequencies through the scalar field, but please be aware that scalar harmony has a very small speaker, so you might not get the effect of some high wattage speaker, but you do know that frequencies are being sent through the scalar field into your body now. Okay, so scalar harmony is a passive device, it does not need any power source. So you can convert any music frequencies. So I do make my own sound waves for multiple purposes. So I use that sound wave into the scalar field through harmony. You need scalar harmony for that. So while you order the unit, you have the option of selecting a scalar harmony. So you can buy separately. Okay. So you see here, scalar harmony is nothing but a small disc, and it has a handle. It has a small speaker here. It's a very tiny speaker. And on the side of the unit, you have 3.5 mm slot, wherein you can connect the cable, which has multiple input audio connectors. So you can connect your iPod, you can connect your Android phone, you can connect any other device, and then you can play the music into the scalar harmony through the scalar field, right? So you see here on the image, on the right hand side, you have placed scalar harmony. We'll be seeing a video shortly. You have placed scalar harmony on the receiver coil, and there is no power connection to the scalar harmony. It does contain only the audio cable. Okay. So you can also put any molecule, any sample essential oil on the scalar harmony. Of course, you need to tune the scalar field for this to be effective. Have a quick look at the scalar harmony video.
Scalar Harmony, unpacking, connecting, and more. Hi, in this video, we will demonstrate a step-by-step procedure of how to turn on your Spooky2 Scalar Harmony and start your first relaxing session. Inside your Scalar Harmony pack, you will receive a Spooky2 Scalar Harmony, a user manual, a locating button with sticker on one side, a button template for assist. Scalar Harmony has been combined molecular. If you are an advanced scalar program,
just 1 minute, I'm just going back. It got,
you can play instrumental music, solfeggio frequencies, and write healing programs via Scalar Harmony. Also, if you are an advanced scalar user, you can combine molecular scalar energy with Scalar Harmony. Scalar Harmony has the molecular modulation perfectly built in on its handle. You can place a glass containing a few drops of essential oil on the place shown below. Before you connect your Scalar Harmony to an audio source, please set up your scalar unit first. Place the transmitter and receiver on either side of a chair or bed. Try to keep them as far apart as possible. Connect the 12V power adapter to the transmitter power port. Transmitter and receiver link connect.
just skipping this common part. Okay. Basically, the scalar unit is being set up. Just 1 minute. Yeah.
You can jump straight to 3 minutes. Simple step of locating button and the button template.
So this is for old units. You have to.
So the switch button fits neatly inside the hole of the template. And make sure the other hole is right on top of the small white circle on the receiver plate.
The button being placed here is just for the scalar harmony unit to be fixed.
Peel off the white coat of the sticker. Carefully place and stick the locate button inside the other hole of the button template. The sticker is quite hard to remove once it sticks to the receiver plate, so be sure to fasten it in the correct position. When the locating button is firmly stuck to the receiver plate, remove the button template and place Spooky2 Scalar Harmony on the receiver coil. The locating button should fit snugly into the small hole under the handle. Plug the audio input into the audio input port. Plug the other end of the cable into the headphone output of your audio device. In this video, I will use an iPhone as an example. Port on the iPhone. Choose a music or song to play. Here, I will select an instrumental music. Make sure the sound of the iPhone is not on mute. It is best to keep the audio player and cables away from the Spooky2 Scalar unit during use.
There is a power button on the side. So this is how we can set up the scalar harmony. Yeah, you have to turn on the power button here to hear the sound. Okay, so this is very important. Now coming to the close of the webinar today, let me quickly see some questions here. Okay, why it's recommended to put water to imprint on the transmitter while substances to transmit molecular information should be placed on the receiver? Yeah, so water is the one where you are going to imprint the frequencies, right? And the sample is the one from where the imprint is starting. Okay, so that is what will go to the receiver coil. So receiver coil will contain the molecular information. So substance will go to the receiver coil because that is where the scalar field is getting started from. And then water is the one where imprint will happen ultimately. So that goes to the transmitter coil. Okay. How long does it take to imprint? 3 minutes or more. That's all. Can I be in the scalar field while imprinting frequencies into water? Yes. In fact, I recommend that because the frequency imprint would be customized for the body. How long the imprint lasts? Usually 2 to 3 months max, and then the imprint gets weaker. Will it be overdosage if doing imprinting water? Never. It is never overdosing with scalar. There is no frequency fatigue at all. Does Spooky2 Scalar have any adverse effect on metal implants? No, not at all. Because scalar field passes the metals straight away. Can I run any other program on remote cold laser or PEMF while in the field? Yes, you can. You can work on computers also, no problem. You can work on your mobile phone when you are getting the scalar therapy, that's fine. I know Spooky2 remote is also scalar field. Okay, what is the difference between scalar and remote? So remote is basically, it's a very low power scalar device. It does do It does provide you the scalar field, but it is a weak scalar device. Okay, not like scalar, which also offers you scalar biofeedback scan, right? This is very important difference. Do you become dependent on scalar? If you go out of the scalar, do you get fatigued? Not at all. Not at all. What is the function of the push button on the receiver? It is just for confirmation of the scalar field. That scalar field has been formed. So you should turn it off once you are done with the scalar tuning, right? So scalar field makes me sleepy for hours after I leave the field. I sometimes sweat a lot, breathe heavily and stuff like that. Yeah, because your body gets detoxed. Okay, it could be a Herx reaction maybe, but your body starts healing itself, so there could be little overhead of the little upper hand of the parasympathetic system, so take it as positive. Can scalar machine be used remotely? Yes, it can. Some people have used DNA sample and Polaroid photographs, which are nothing but entangled biophotons in the middle of the scalar field. So people can get therapeutic benefit of the scalar field instantly. Can children use Spooky2 Scalar? Yes, we recommend children above 7 years. Can Spooky2 Scalar runs 24/7 for several weeks? Absolutely yes. What about pets that join the person that is being treated? Okay or not? Absolutely fine, because pets are entangled with you, right? So it's perfectly fine. Can we use mobile phones during Spooky2 Scalar treatment? Yes, you can. Spooky2 Scalar makes the fields coherent, right? Remember? So should the receiver light not be dim when I put my hand in front of the lid? Not touching the lid? Absolutely. Light will dim a bit because of the capacitance you have added in the field. Nothing to worry. It is fine. Do we need to change settings for different diseases? No, not at all. Only if you are going for adding different frequencies of the diseases, then of course you will be the settings as such, the scalar field has been set up. There is nothing else needed to be changed. So you will be just changing the frequencies to be sent in the scalar field. Okay, so that is decided by the Spooky2 program. So as such, scalar setting does not change. Okay, so to get more information, you can approach these links and you can place your Spooky2 Scalar order from Spooky2 Scalar website, right? And you can place order for any Spooky2 devices from Spooky2 Mall website. You can have a look at these videos. You can reach me on these links. Okay, I'm available. I'm going to type the details in the chat box so that you can have a look at all these information. I'm just writing in the chat box. You can approach me here. So this is the information I have provided in the chat box. This is my email ID. If anyone is willing to have one-on-one training, you want one-on-one training on any of the Spooky2 technology, then you are free to approach me for one-on-one training. I do offer paid one-on-one trainings. Okay, you can approach me on my YouTube channel, The Spinning Head. Please subscribe my channel. If you want more information about this technology, you can follow me on Instagram. 14 have been answered. Okay. Capable of carrying information. What do you mean by information? Okay. Brian has asked capable of carrying information. So I think I've explained already that part, because information is nothing but frequency. So Everything has a frequency. We are transmitting frequency through scalar field. Linda, don't worry. The frequency, as I said, changes with the atmospheric conditions, so nothing to worry. Just check if the scalar field has formed or not using the tuning light on the receiver. Okay, so nothing to worry. Ruth, yes, you can retune according to your need. You can go clockwise and anti-clockwise, but the general rule of thumb is try to go slow from 8 megahertz to the lower value and try to go in one direction so that it is easier for you to locate the point. If you have missed the point, you can also turn off the machine, turn it on again, and then retune the field. That's not a problem. Christy has asked a very good question. If you want to introduce sacred geometry or biogeometry that is drawn on cardstock paper, yeah. So you can place it on the receiver coil, Christy. You can place the biogeometry on the receiver coil. Even I am experimenting with it. Christy, because you are buying the scalar unit, you want to sit in between the field where it is strongest, isn't it? So G Norton has asked, does the generator X can only have one frequency? What do you mean by that, Norton? You can provide all the frequencies one by one. It goes in the serial fashion, okay, one by one. Lisa, it should work. Windows 11 also should work. Thank you, Gabriela. You're feeling the scalar field. Wonderful. Not everyone feels the same, I'm telling you. Okay. Just if we have to be comfortable technically, and scalar field will still work. It is irrespective of your independent of your belief system, for sure. Yes, Justin, you do not need the pulse with generator X. Absolutely, yes. Danny Ross has asked, no light is showing up on the receiver while doing BFP scan. First of all, you're not supposed to look at the receiver light at all when you're doing the scan. You have to stay still, okay? And you just check the light on the receiver only once, that too before starting the BFB scan, Danny. Don't touch the receiver light during the scan. Not recommended. Norton, you can listen to the music while doing BFP. Oh, no, not while doing BFP. No, no way. Don't do it during BFP, not at all. Norton, yes, you can put the photograph. You can experiment with that. Yes. Tamara has asked holograph paper. You can try the hologram. Yes, you can do that. Yes, Tamara, you can. No, John, the castor oil does not lose its potency while being used in scalar. It does not loses potency. No way. Receiver light does not receiver light, you mean the one on the receiver? That's okay. Don't worry about that. Brightness can change. Make sure the connections are tight, okay? It might happen that connections are not proper. Matt Clark has asked, I've placed small glass of distilled water on transmit plate and ran some frequency. Water did not freeze clear like you should ever try to do this long enough. Yeah, freezing is very important. This is a very good experiment you can do, but I haven't done it yet because the benefit wise I find it is beneficial. But yeah, freezing test is very important. We should test it with freezing. Okay, so maybe you will have to fine tune the timing according to your needs, Clark. Okay, you will have to experiment with that. I'm just telling the general procedure here. Okay. Adriano has asked, okay, 432 hertz based or 440 hertz based. I go for 432 hertz based, okay, because I am a fan of 432 hertz. So it is your personal priority, but I definitely recommend only 432 hertz. There are some studies I've seen earlier, I don't remember now, but 432 hertz is beneficial, not 440 hertz, right? You can't use binaural beats with harmony device, Clinton. Sorry, you can't use binaural beats with harmony device. No. Maximus you can place as many times as possible. No problems. Potency does not go down. Laura has asked, after the scan, should you remove the digitizer? Yes, it's fine. Okay. Scalar digitizer is used only for the biofeedback scanning. So if you are doing scalar based hunt and kill, then scalar digitizer is connected always throughout the night. But if you are doing only scan and then using the scalar treatment, you need to you can remove it. For facial hemiatrophy, you go for generator X kit, I think. You go for the generator X kit or the central kit. Both should be good. Linda have asked, answered the question already. Danny Ross, that's a good question. See, what you can do is, I'm telling you, when you are setting up the scalar field for the biofeedback scan, just don't connect the BNC connector to the link to the scalar digitizer. Okay, so don't connect the BNC cable to the scalar digitizer and then tune the scalar. Now you will see the light will turn on. Okay, you will see the light getting turned on. Once this is done, turn off the receiver light and then connect back the BNC cable to the link cable. So this same issue some people have reported to me earlier. So because maybe the path of the scalar field gets shifted once the BNC cable is connected. That is why the light is not visible. But I would suggest remove the BNC cable from the scalar digitizer, set up the field, then connect back the BNC cable. That should be good. You will see the field. James, I think that question Spooky2 team can answer for you. They have different websites. Popular people have many places, right? Okay. Thank you, Maximus. How do you do a short versus a long scan? What is that? Short versus a long scan. You don't have short or long scan in scalar. There is only one scan. Okay. Thank you for your questions. And let me quickly go to the chat box also. Hello to everyone. Thank you for your birthday wishes. Thank you so much. Wonderful. Okay. Okay. By the way, the video recording will be available to all. Okay. So you, Spooky2 team will send you email about the same. Gerard, you will get this thing, you will get the video recording. Matt Clark has said BG16 pendulum will detect a scalar field presence. Yes, I do agree with you. I have BG16. I make my own pendulums. Yes, our DNA does emit light. Absolutely. Matt Clark, can you send me an email? I would like to discuss more about the scalar detection with you. I'm happy that you have experience in this field. Okay. I'm just seeing if any question has been missed out. Trying to just see the chat. Sorry for the delay. Jeff, yeah, I do understand if you are seeing in the bright light, tuning could be a pain. Uh, you know, that is how it is. So try to use some sort of cylinder, it's some sort of pipe so that you are able to see it clearly. Jeff, so no need to set generator to port 3 in output control. No, 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 you don't have to do that. Don't do it, Jeff. We just need to shadow master. That means we are going to the control tab and then not control tab, settings tab. And then there we enter in the slave port, we enter for in the output shadowing tab, output shadowing frame, we enter the number of the port G1, that is port number 2. Scalar digitizer goes in G1, absolutely right. Susan, you will have to experiment with the maximum distance, right? Because Spooky2 does offer an extended cable, so it can perform BFP for larger distances too. Not an issue. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. A guy has asked any Hertz reactions from Spooky. So yeah, some people do get Hertz reactions, guy. People do get Hertz reaction. Thank you, everyone. Thank you so much, everyone, for enjoying the presentation, and your lovely presence made my birthday special, and really feel happy to be with you all on this day for me. Okay. Charles, yes, I am a trainer. You can contact me for any one-on-one training, Charles. You can send me an email. I'm again typing all the details here in the chat box. Thank you so much. Yeah. Maximus, you can play guitar plugged to the amplifier. Yes, you can. No problems. In fact, it is going to add up to your scalar benefit. Definitely. Through scalar harmony, Christy, that is a very good question. How do you compare using uh, the Rife frequencies through scalar harmony versus scalar Rife scalar? See, usually, see, I make my own sound waves. So I have been working with sound waves for past 3 years nearly now. So I make my sound waves. So I know I make pure waves. Okay. So it depends. If the freely found YouTube videos are used, we never know what is running in the background, right? They can put any music in the background, maybe not beneficial to you. So it is a tricky question, but I would prefer to use my own frequencies. Having said that, I would prefer generator X Rife scalar frequencies to be given, or if you are giving through scalar harmony, give frequencies through well-tested Android apps. So I think you can contact Spooky2 team. They will give you, you can have access to the app, right? And the Spooky2 app, and there you can get pure frequencies too. Okay. Thank you. Thank you everyone for your wishes. Love you all. Thank you so much. Oh, wow, Sani. You make your own pendulums. Wow. Just give me 1 second. I'm showing you. This is the pendulum I made, by leading. Okay. And this is the one I have recently made. All the three pendulums. These are 3D printed pendulums. So this is BG16 3D printed. This is BG3 and this is DZ pendulum. So these three are the latest one. You can't see me. I'm visible. So these are the pendulums I've made, and I'm just starting to test this now. Okay. Thank you. Thank you. So thank you. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Gerard. Thank you so much. So Robin, I'm not selling my STL files right now, because you can just email me, we can discuss the details. Okay. Thank you so much for attending and for your blessings on my birthday. It was really special today. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. And if anyone needs one-on-one training, please approach me and we can discuss how to proceed. Thank you, Danny. Thank you so much. Yeah. Thank you, Peter. Thank you. Beautiful words. It means a lot to me. Thank you so much. Okay, everyone, take care. And thank you, Zara, for your assistance. Means a lot. Okay, thank you again. Bye. Take care, everyone. I'm closing the session now.